Ms. Clark, thank you for that. The gentlelady yields. I now recognize Mr. Luttrell, the gentleman from Texas, for his 5 minutes of questions.
Good afternoon. 19 terrorists in September 2001 killed 3,000 of our citizens. And then last month, Hamas fighters invaded Israel. Ms. Abizaid, do we have a number on how many Hamas fighters came into Israel? Do we have a round number on that?
I don't have a number for you.
Mr. Wray, you know?
I don't.
Almost a month passed, although we don't have a good accountability on what those numbers look like.
I'm sure we can get those for you. I don't have them for you today, but it was a sizable number to a shocking degree.
So how many deaths in Israel last month, total civilian?
Well, we've seen the Israeli government revise their casualty estimates down to around 1,200. Again, a shocking number of deaths.
How many hostages remain?
There are over 200, is my understanding.
Mr. Wray, do you believe that in America or globally there's a war on fentanyl?
Do I believe there's a war on fentanyl?
Yeah.
I think there's a whole of government effort to combat the scourge.
Just the sheer number of deaths that we see daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly.
I'm sorry,
I would just say sheer numbers that we're losing to fentanyl. And as a military man, I would think that loss would calculate a sheer conflict. So my question is, do you consider our challenges against the fentanyl crisis a war? Or is that too bold of a statement?
No, I don't. I mean, look, I think bold language is appropriate when it comes to fentanyl. I will tell you that on the FBI end, when we are making gang arrests, we have seen over and over again violent gang arrests, more often than not now, include fentanyl seizures. That's all over the country. That's just one metric, but it shows the degree, along with, for example, the case that I mentioned in Boston in my opening statement, just shows it is a routine thing now for our people working with our partners to be making seizures of fentanyl that in one seizure would be enough to wipe out an entire state.
I would add sex trafficking to the war as well, given the sheer numbers of individuals that are being held across the globe. Ms. Abizaid or Mr. Wray, how many known groups or individuals in the United States are we monitoring for terroristic activity that we need to be concerned on? And Mr. Mayorkas, I know Mr. Pfluger asked you these questions with that chart, but we're concerned that is there a substantial amount, again, 19 for 9/11, let's just say 200 maybe Hamas fighters came into Israel. Those are very small numbers compared to the damages that they inflicted. So are we actively engaged on any terroristic watch list inside the United States that provide an absolute risk or threat right now?
Well, let me try to answer the question this way. We FBI have, through our 56 Joint Terrorism Task Forces, have active investigations that relate to Hamas, that relate to Al-Qaeda.
You said that very eloquently earlier, sir. I hate to cut you off. Okay. You don't have to repeat yourself. My concern is I want to know, can I go home and tell my people in Texas that we are in a safe place? There's no viable risk that we need to be concerned about right now, giving just the numbers that have come across the border. Mr. Mayorkas, these numbers, you get hit in the face with this every day. So I'm sure you know them well, but in 18, we had 6 known registers, then it goes down to 3, 22, it went up to 98. This year it's 172, and already in 24 fiscal year, we're at 13. So again, this is a worldwide threat to the homeland. My concern is, are we missing something? Where is our blind side? Is there one, and are we addressing it? Either one of you.
So as an intelligence professional, we're always concerned about the gaps that we have, about the global terrorism environment. For my part, we're very focused on foreign terrorist organizations overseas, what we can learn about their plans and intentions, and the degree to which they have tried to seed operatives here in the United States.
Are you seeing them seeding those or sowing those threads here in the United States?
We do not have credible or corroborated indications that they are trying to seed operatives into the United States for terrorist purposes through the southwest border or other borders. That doesn't mean we're complacent, and it is a risk that we monitor and we evaluate every day.
Okay. Mr. Mayorkas, you mentioned in your opening statement, and I mimic Ms. Lee's statement about 4470 passed the House. Passed out of the committee through the House. It's sitting in the Senate for CFATs. In your opening statement, you mentioned Shepherd, Texas. Do you know where Shepherd, Texas is?
Not precisely,
I
Congressman.
was kind of hoping you would say yes, because I'm sure you wrote your opening statement. Well, Shepherd, Texas, that's my district. I didn't intentionally think you were going to start you would throw darts at me after our discussion, and I want to thank you for coming to my office after the first time that we met. You said you would do that, and you did. So thank you very much. But that facility in Shepherd, Texas, a Class A facility, very small. And do you know how the explosion happened?
Not precisely, Congressman. I'm aware of the fact of the explosion and how it underscores the criticality of the CFATS program.
It does, and it's a human error is how that inevitably the explosion happened. But I don't know if you're aware of this now, but that facility is not under the CFATS regulation. And I just wanted to bring that to your attention since I thought you were talking directly to me when you said that. So I wanted to make sure that you were aware that that particular facility does not, even though we support CFATS, that one does not live in that space. But thank you. And again, thank you for coming to my office like you said you would do.
Thank you, Congressman.
Gentleman yields, and I think Ms. Titus has asked to defer to Mr. Strong and then come back to her, so we will grant that request. The gentleman from Alabama, Mr. Strong, is recognized for his 5 minutes.